We're back to the 812 again. The snow all melted, and I found this used solenoid in my garage here, and I'm going to wire this one in there instead of this busted one that came with it. The bolt spacing is the same, so it's no big deal. Now, a couple improvements I'm going to make. I'm not a fan of these wires coming off the battery. I always have problems with that whenever I have a tractor that has that. So what I've done is I run a terminal here to one of the lugs on the solenoid. This lug here, I'm going to rewire so that the hot wire feeds the key switch from here instead of from the battery. I found that it's less prone to corroding and other things like that over time. I cleaned up the terminals on the battery wire, so we'll hook them up to this bad boy. And we're going to, crimp a new end onto the wire that feeds the key switch to the solenoid. I usually like that wire to be blue, but this one's brown, so we're going to save it like that. And then the other thing that we're probably going to do is I'm probably going to remove the whole prong from here and just crimp terminals on each wire, because the plastic plug is melted and broken, and I just think it's a point of failure. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm not going to record this whole thing. I'm just going to wire up the solenoid, and then I'm going to test it out and we'll see what happens. So we got all our connections cleaned up. I ended up taking this clamp apart here and cleaning the wire and wire brushing all the metal parts and putting new bolts in it. And now we got continuity from the positive down to our feed on our solenoid. I hooked up my jumper pack, but the battery is too dead. The starter's turning, but it's not engaging. So we got the new solenoid hooked up and we got nothing. So I determined that we have a bad ground over here. So we're going to clean this up a little bit and see if we can have a ground that actually worked. So we'll charge the jumper pack and come back later and see if we can get the starter to turn over. I got the jumper pack charged up, and if I hit the key, all you hear is the starter, but the Bendix isn't going up. So maybe I gotta oil the Bendix. I'm gonna hook the jumper back up to the starter again and see if I get the same result. Let's see. If I do, then I know that the Bendix is the problem. If I don't, then I know that there's something else wrong. So hopefully it's the Bendix. Hard to get a good ground back here. Yeah, so it's not the Bendix. Something else sucks. What the heck? It's frustrating, huh? The only part I haven't cleaned is where the battery cable attaches to the starter itself. So maybe I'll do that. And everything else is either cleaned or a new wire. So we'll see what we get. Alright, so I took the terminal off the starter here, and the actual bolt on the starter was all covered with like rust and everything. So I cleaned that up here, and let's see if the thing cranks now. Nope. Still got the same problem. This is really frustrating. I wonder if it's a bad ground or something. It's really strange. I take my ground and hook it on something else here. Problem is everything's rusty on this thing. I got nothing. Maybe I'm gonna just take my little I got this file here. Let's just make a fresh spot on a bolt here. Like shiny spot. Let's see if that is any better. Let's see. Nothing now. I don't know. This is just really weird. Really weird. I could have a bad solenoid, but like it's not letting enough juice flow through it. Really, really strange. I mean, it's energizing, but it's just not doing enough juice to the starter. It's like there's a voltage drop between the starter and the, solenoid. And again, I have really crappy terminals on these wires, so it wouldn't faze me at all if that was the problem, So this cable here is really crappy. I guess I could take my hot lead here and hook it right on the solenoid, and that would bypass that lead as being a potential problem. Let me see if I can do that. Got my wires all twisted up here. It's dark out and it's cold. I don't even have a coat on. And, just another one of those stupid things. It's going to be hard to get this on here, but I'm going to try. Yeah, it should be on there. Let's see what happens. See if I short something out. No, we have the same problem. So I guess I can rule out that battery cable as being the issue. Well, I have a brand new solenoid that I didn't want to put in this tractor, but I could hook it up and just see if that solves the problem. But not tonight. I'm done on this for tonight. And I think I have a box full of electrical parts I bought on eBay that might have one as well. So, we'll see, we'll see. Oh, what the hell? This is funny. The wire on the coil here that would go to the condenser, or sorry, over to the points, isn't even tight. I haven't gotten that far yet. That's next, but look how crusty these bolts are on the coil here. Well, there's no fuel line also. The little details in life. So anyways, we'll get back to this. It's either got to be this cable that feeds the starter, or it's got to be the solenoid. My money's going to be on the solenoid because I just took some junk one out of the workbench. And I have a feeling that that's my problem. So... Alright, so I had gotten this box of goodies here on eBay a while ago. I think I paid about $20 for it. Let's see what's in there. Well, we got a Kohler carb rebuild kit. That's a good one with the float valve and all the gaskets that are necessary. And let's see, what else do we have? A pile of miscellaneous Kohler gaskets. It looks like there's an oil pan gasket for a square oil pan, which might be on like a commercial 10. There's a regular oil pan. There's some various other gaskets in here for, a dipstick, points, whatever. Looks like there's a ton of bearing plate gaskets in there. Let's see, what else do we have? We got solenoid, which is what I'm probably going to be using out of this, because that's what I need on that tractor, I think. And, oh, let's see, a brand new set of Kohler OEM points. We might need that on the tractor too, we'll see. Oh, damn, that sucks. This is for a 8-horse Kohler with a magneto ignition, and I just bought one of these things 2 weeks ago for my giant vac, and there's one in here that I already had. Of course, right? Well, I have a spare now. What we got? Wow, a Kohler fuel filter. I've never seen an OEM Kohler fuel filter. That's pretty cool. What else we got in here? Another solenoid. This is a different style. As a 4-post. Maybe this would work on a walk behind. And we got another one of the good old type, like most of the riders have. What else we got? We got a coil. Yeah, and it also has a condenser hanging off of it. What else we got? A coil clamp. It's a pretty nice one. It's a little bent down here. Oh, dude, another solenoid. That's awesome. Here's another one with a boatload of wires on it. It even has a cable for the starter and the battery. Huh. We got a voltage regulator, and we got 2 more voltage regulators, and we got another coil. So I would say that my $20 purchase here is pretty awesome. Yep. I paid $13 to ship it, but it's still awesome. So I think that all the parts that we need to get that 812 running again should be in this box. We got points, we got carbs, we got coils, we got 4 solenoids, and we got a carb rebuild kit. So shouldn't have any excuses now. So I'm going to bench test this one here and see if it works. And if it does, then we're going to try to put this one in that machine and see if it works better than the one that's in there. Okay, so you've seen me do this before, but I got the negative lead of a battery charger hooked up to the base. I made a little jumper wire here that will go from a hot side, and I'm going to touch it to here when I energize this. And I got the hot lead coming in. So I'm just going to plug my battery charger in, and then I'll just take this and yeah, it's working. Sounds really strong. So that's great news. All right. So, you know, I think that we'll put this solenoid back in the 812. And hopefully we'll be a little better off than we were with that other one. Before I put it in, I'm going to take a wire brush and just clean up these terminals here a little bit. These lugs, if you will. Shine them up a little bit so there's a better connection. And then we'll see where we go from there.